Vada Pav is Mumbai's answer to the American burger. The garlicky, spicy potato filling is just to die for. Everywhere that you go in Bombay, you are going to find one particular famous vendor who is selling this vada pav in his own unique way with his own unique twist. Outside every local railway station, college complexes or office complexes, you are going to find small vendors or even big chains who sell vada pav from early in the morning until late at night. In this video, I am making a healthy, guilt-free, fancy version of this loved Mumbai dish. I am going to make baked vada pav. You are going to take the same potato filling and instead of frying it and putting it in a pav, we are going to bake it in the raw bread dough. You can also make this as an appetizer or as a starter. Make mini versions of these and bake them beforehand, and then when you want to serve them, just reheat them in a microwave. So before I begin making this recipe, if you haven't already, then please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you are notified every time I upload a new video. First, let us make the dough. For that, I have taken some all-purpose flour or maida here, and to that I am going to add salt. Now I am using instant dry yeast. You can see how small the granules are. The benefit of this yeast is that you don't need to activate or dissolve this in lukewarm water like you would for active dry yeast. Active dry yeast is more commonly available, so if you are going to use that yeast, then you need to use 1 teaspoon. More quantity of that is required. You can also watch my Bombay sandwich calzone video to learn how to use active dry yeast. I will link that here. I prefer to use instant yeast as it is more reliable and always gives consistent results. You can buy it online or from any baking supply store in your city. I'll leave a link for it in the description box. Add in the powdered sugar. Mix all the ingredients. If there are any lumps in the powdered sugar, then break them with your hand. And then form a soft dough. I am giving the measurements here, but every maida is different, and depending on the wheat and the season and the ambient temperature, it will absorb different quantity of water. So remember to make a soft roti type of a dough. Once the dough comes together, transfer it to a flat surface and knead it for 7 to 8 minutes by the clock. Do not estimate it, knead it. Kneading the dough will form the gluten that will make the bread really soft, spongy and make it rise properly. Now after kneading, add in the oil and once again knead it till the oil is absorbed. You can form a ball and place it in a greased bowl. Rub some oil over it so that a skin doesn't form on top of this and it doesn't dry the flour or the dough out. Cover this with a moist cloth and keep it to rise in a warm place. You can also cover it with cling film or any lid as long as the dough has space to rise. Let it rise at room temperature for at least 30 to 35 minutes. Don't let the dough overproof or rise too much because we need to roll the dough and shape the dough. If you let it overproof, it will become very loose and it will be very difficult for us to roll it. So don't go by some recipes which say that let it double in size. Just proof it for 30 minutes and then you can proceed with the rest of the recipe. Now for the filling, take some oil, add in the asafoetida and mustard seeds and let the mustard seeds crackle. Then add in the curry leaves, the ginger and the garlic. Saute them well and then add in the potatoes. Now the star of this dish is the freshly ground ginger, garlic and chili paste. So don't use the pre-packaged ones. Always use freshly crushed ginger and garlic, and also don't reduce the quantity. The flavor of these two spices or condiments actually has to be very, very strong. Also, because the bread is bland, keep the spices and the salt slightly on the higher side. Don't make it extremely salty or spicy, but basically keep the filling appropriately spiced so that it covers up for the blandness of the bread. Or you can just follow my measurements. Now, while adding the chili paste, you can switch off the gas so that it doesn't become very difficult for you to breathe and you don't end up sneezing a lot. I have used 3 medium potatoes and then just crush them and mix the filling well. And then in the end, you can add in the chopped coriander. And that's it. At this point, you can season the filling, taste it, and adjust the spiciness and the salt as per your preference. Divide this filling into 6 medium sized balls, because the bread dough is also going to give us 6 equal sized dough balls. Now see the rise of the dough here. It has risen but not too much, and it has not doubled. So always remember that you don't need to overproof the bread at this stage. Divide this dough into 6 equal dough balls, and each dough ball will become one baked vada pav. Now while you are making one vada pav, cover the rest of the dough balls with a moist cloth so that they don't get dried out by the time you finish making the other one. Roll it with the palm of your hand like I am showing in the video, and then with the help of a rolling pin, you can roll it till a thickness of 7 to 8 millimeters. You can use oil to rub your workspace if you find that the dough has become sticky. Now I'm just sprinkling some vada pav chutney on the bread dough before I place the potato filling. You can skip this also. And then, like I'm showing you in the video, pinch all the dough together and pinch it and press it so that the seams stick, and otherwise you will end up with the dough opening up while baking. You don't want that. So pinch and close, and then place the seam side down, and with your palms try to create tension on the surface of the dough. Pull the dough with your fingers and tuck it under the bottom like I am doing. If this tension is not there on the surface of the dough, then when it will rise, it won't have a smooth and a shiny surface, and it will be uneven. I am pressing it down into a flatter shape so that even after the bread rises and we bake it, it fits easily onto the mouth, and it's easy to take a bite. Now, if you want a more roundish shape, then don't press it down like I am doing. I have a dusted tray here, just rubbed some oil on it and sprinkled some flour. If you want to see how to dust a baking pan, then you can check out my strawberry cake video. I will link it here. Brush oil on top of these vada pavs and then cover them and let them rise for 30 to 35 minutes, or wait till they are puffy and doubled in size. Apply some water on these vada pav buns that are now proofed and ready to be baked with the help of a brush or with this kind of a spray bottle, and then sprinkle with some white or black sesame seeds. This is optional. And now I'm going to bake these vada pav at 250 degrees after I have preheated the oven for 15 minutes, and I'm going to bake it for 8 to 9 minutes, or once you see that the top has become golden brown. Now you can see our delicious vada pavs are ready. Once you take them out of the oven, immediately brush them with melted butter or oil so that the crust becomes soft and very fluffy, and it doesn't remain chewy or hard. Just serve your baked vada pav with hot garam chai, and that's it. This recipe is so easy and so delicious. So I hope you guys like this recipe. If you want to know more about bread making and learn different types of bread, then I am coming up with an online bread class that will cover all the details about bread from basic to professional. You can also follow me on Facebook or Instagram at chefhasti, that's my page name, so that you guys are updated whenever I upload the details about the class. I'll see you next time with another interesting recipe. Till then, happy cooking.